Tom, I don't know that much about the Supreme Court. I was always taught that it's an impartial guardian of American liberties, and it's the branch of government that keeps the other two branches in line.
Actually, Michael, all three branches of the federal government have a responsibility to uphold the Constitution. But today we have this superstitious reverence toward the court, as if the court is uniquely positioned to protect us against abuse.
Hold on. The Supreme Court is not like the other two branches. They don't campaign. They're not politicians. They don't have a vested interest in an individual bill passing. They're there for life. So they're not subject to partisanship, and it has the word supreme, which means above the other two.
So you're basically repeating this comforting myth that we're all taught, but there is absolutely nothing to it. And remember, too, Thomas Jefferson taught that what we have in America is called concurrent review, that all three branches have a responsibility to uphold the Constitution. And even James Madison, in the Report of 1800 that nobody reads anymore, says that in the last resort...
What does he mean, last resort?
He means that when even the courts have betrayed us, yes, even your Supreme Court, it falls to what he calls the constituent parts of the Union to defend the Constitution. What he meant by that? It's up to the states to stand up and resist abuses of power.
There's a reason the Supreme Court is the last of the three branches to take a look at a bill which has now become a law. They're like the goalies. They're the last step to keep a law that's unconstitutional from being implemented.
All right, Michael, now we're getting somewhere. If they're goalies, that means they play for a team. There have even been people sitting on the court who have wound up pursuing partisan political offices. For example, Charles Evans Hughes resigns from the bench to accept the Republican presidential nomination. But even beyond examples like that, when you play for a team, you're also playing for the league. We forget that although the Supreme Court every once in a while will side with you, the Supreme Court is part of the federal government. It's hardly an impartial arbiter. It's like if you and I were having a dispute and I said, now look, Michael, my mom is a really, really fair person. We'll take our dispute there. Well, it's not impossible that my mom might say, Tom, really, you were wrong in this case, but I highly doubt Michael would want to go into that arena.
You had Earl Warren. He had been the Republican vice presidential candidate. He'd been governor of California. Teddy Roosevelt's opponent in 1904, Alton Parker. He had been a judge. William Howard Taft went from the president who got stuck in the bathtub to Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. So historically speaking, there wasn't any pretense that these men were just politicians. They were partisan politicians. And in fact, to this day, every so often someone say, they should have appointed Hillary Clinton to the Supreme Court, or Barack Obama, or even Michelle Obama.
And just look at the way the Senate nomination hearings take place. That should make clear to anybody that none of these senators are looking for somebody who just has a solid knowledge of the law, who wants to apply it consistently and fairly. So if they ask about some particular legal theory, it's only because they think, if this person believes this theory, he'll probably support my whole legislative agenda. That's all this is about. So, Michael, returning to a level that even you can understand, let's talk about goalies again. Would you choose somebody from the other team to be your goalie?
I don't know, Tom. Could it be your mom?